Hi everyone, this is Dr. V.S. Nishok from EC Department, SNS College of Technology. Here we are going to discuss the topic Manufacturing Test Principles. So this is the outline of this video: testing, fault models, observability and controllability, and its summary. So we are starting with the need of testing. So testing of every IC chips is very must before manufacturing and post manufacturing, before delivering it to the customers. So that is very much needed, because if you are shipping the defective parts, it will cost a lot. So that is the main thing why we need to concentrate on testing. So here is the topic: logic verification. Does this IC chip simulate correctly? We need to check for the outputs for all the possible input combinations, not random combination, but for all the input combinations. Here is the example for 32-bit adder. So for 32-bit adder, we need to start from 0 input to up to the 2 power 31-bit input combination for getting the better result. So testing should be done after simulation and also after manufacturing the IC. So that is the best way of testing to get good results. And then silicon debug. So test the first chips back from fabrication. So if we are going for testing, it should be tested from fabrication step. For that, initially from wafer step, we need to test each and every steps, and we need to obtain the IC at the last step. And then manufacturing test. So here, as we are discussing, we need to test the ICs step by step. So even while during the wafer preparation, so if you are including some dust particles inside the wafer, so it will lead to the false output of the IC. So that is why we need to the manufacturing companies, semiconductor manufacturing companies will have on clean environment for manufacturing the ICs. So that is the key points we need to consider here. And manufacturing, the testers also very costlier. So we need to, if it is costlier, then we need to go for any using breadboard and testers. We need to find out the another different alternative method to test the ICs. So that is given here. So build a breadboard with LED and switches and use the logic analyzer or pattern generator, which costs lesser when comparing to the testers. So here is the example: tester ICs, functional chip tester. So designed by clinic teams and David Diaz at HMC. So this is the best example which provides the best result by testing the ICs. So testing is an important part in the IC manufacturing. And then coming to the faults that are possible while we are testing, that occurs while we are testing. So stuck faults means when the output stuck to either 0 or logic 1. So that is called as a stuck fault due to any shorting or some any fluctuations. So voltage will be, that is output will be stuck to either 0 or 1. So that is mentioned here as a stuck fault. So if it is stuck to 0, so even though the input is changes, the fault that is due to the stuck at 0, the output will always be equal to 0, irrelevant to the variation in the input. In the similar way, we will be having the stuck at 1 fault. So this is the time for activity. So, and then coming to the topic observability and controllability. So, observability, that is nothing but when we are giving the input and we are checking the outputs, each and every outputs for the all input combinations. That is the observability. Ease of observing a node by which external output pins of the chip. Observing all combination of outputs. That is observability. And controllability, ease of forcing a node to 0 or 1 by driving input pins of the chip. So we can modify the output whatever we need, that can be obtained by the use of controllability technique. So that is the difference between the observability and controllability. So both are needed in terms of this testing application. And then test pattern generation. So here with the help of good observability and controllability, reduce number of test vectors required for manufacturing tests. So it indirectly reduces the cost of testing and improves the yield. We don't need to check each and every input combination. So this is a different method. So then coming to the fabrication, we need to test properly for obtaining the good quality ICs. So that is the step we need to follow during the fabrication and post fabrication method. Wherever we need to simulate and we need to check the output. So here is the assessment part. We have seen about the need of testing and what are the methods to test and what are the faults that can occur and how to overcome that one. We have seen in this video, and then the assessment part is here. How can you test the load materials weighted in lorry? So finding extra load in a circuit by comparing with known good condition. So in this way we can estimate the previous outputs. So with that estimated output we can find the right output of the IC for different input combination. So next one about the stuck fault and 0, that is logic 0 and logic 1 combination, and then testing needs is the another question. Okay, thank you all for joining this video. We can join in the next video.